Good morning, everyone from Canvas Real Estate Miami Lakes. Marlene Gonzalez here on a very special day for two reasons. Number one, it's Valentine's, so we need to give thanks to all the people in our lives that we love, our significant others, our friends, our family, and our colleagues. And I'm super duper excited that we are also holding a top producer panel here at Canvas Miami Lakes. And in a moment, we're going to ask them a bunch of questions of how they got started and how they became as successful as they came. And they're all sitting right behind me, okay? But before we do that, I have a special announcement. Today, we are also doing a soft intro of our new in-house lender, First Origin mortgage lenders that are based right here in Miami Lakes. They've been in business close to 20 years. And I have the team here, and I want to introduce you for a second to the owner of First Origin Mortgage Lenders. And he's going to tell you just a little bit about the company, and then we'll get started with our top producer panel, okay? And thank you for all of the ones that have joined us here at the office and online. Okay, Ray, come on in and introduce yourself here to the group, and then we can get started.
All right. Hi, everyone. Ray Palacios from First Origin Mortgage Lenders. A little bit about our company. We've been open for almost 18 years, so 17 and a half or so. I've been doing this for 29, almost 30 years as well. There isn't a program out there that anybody else has that we don't have. And then some, all the way up to private money, conventional FHA, Hometown Heroes, DSCR, bank statement programs. So if you have a borrower out there, we will definitely qualify them. If not, we will tell them what they need to do to get qualified within the next 6 or 12 months. So that way you can have them in that pipeline. So our goal is to save your borrower's money or your buyer's money and help you guys build up your pipeline as well. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, we're going to be here, I believe, every Wednesday in your sales meetings here in the Miami Lakes office. We are also 2 blocks away. We have a beautiful office just 2 blocks away with our building, our logo on the building as well, just off the Palmetto and 154th Street. And we're always available to you day, night, weekends, even Sundays, during the Dolphins in August or September. Wherever I am, I always answer my phone. My guys always answer theirs. We have 22 loan officers right here in Miami Lakes that are ready to assist you. And I am very, very hands-on. We are also licensed in Louisiana and Georgia as well. So even if you have a buyer coming in or going to those states, we can assist them as well. So, and that was it for me. And I hope to speak to all of you shortly. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Let me make sure that everyone can see the camera here because we're, again, live streaming this. And I'm going to be introducing our colleagues that are joining us. First individual that I'd like to introduce that I met almost 10 years ago is Carlos Navas. Carlos started with our Western office. And in short, Carlos is the #1 top producer of all of Canvas Real Estate, our 10 offices. And he's here with us today, and we're going to pick his brain to see what makes him successful, okay? So, Carlos, please welcome. If you'd like to say something to the group before I start asking you the questions.
Yeah, of course. Welcome to everybody. Well, I'm here to share some and respond some questions that you guys have. Any question, I'm more than welcome to give my knowledge or my insights. And let's have some good time with you guys.
Great, perfect. Okay, next up, I have my tocaya, Marlene Ibars. Marlene and I met like 18 years ago. And we worked commercial real estate together. And when she got her license, I said, oh, you're not going anywhere else except with us. How long is it that you've been here, Marlene?
Well, it's, I think it was 2014
Okay,
that I got my license. I was working way before, but you know, that's when I got my license. And yeah, we know each other for a long time. We had a blast. And
okay.
I'm very honored to be here and, you know, help in any way that I can to anybody that need assistance or, as he says, to share what we know with all of you.
Perfect. Welcome, Marlene. Thank you. And I'm very proud to introduce Iyala. Okay, meeting in progress. That's what happens when you have a live election, right? Okay, so Iyala Rodriguez, and I have been talking for over a year. I think we need to,
Mute.
mute somebody.
I'm trying to figure something out.
Sorry about that. Iyala we started talking about a year ago.
Yeah.
And she came on board, but before she came on board, she brought her partner in crime, Irelis. And then after Irelis told her how wonderful we are, she came on board. How long is it that you started with us here?
I think that is about 6 months.
6 months, and in less than 6 months, she reached her, may I say, her $3 million cap, okay? In less than 6 months, and this year she's gonna triple it, hopefully, okay, very well. And we have online, and he's on camera, Jose Navarro. Jose Navarro was with our Western office, is now here in Miami Lakes, but he's actually working remotely because he lives in Palm Bay, Florida.
Oh, wow.
So it goes to show that you can definitely do business anywhere in Florida. Jose, would you like to introduce yourself to the group?
Sure. So my name is Jose. I lived in South Florida for most of my life, Broward and in Miami. And then in 2022, I decided to move up to Palm Bay. Saw some opportunities here with new construction. And then that's kind of what I've been working on for the last year. And then, you know, I do also do business in Miami and Broward still. So, and that's, you know, that's where I'm at right now. I've also expanded into Orlando. So I've had opportunities to actually do a couple of deals in Orlando.
Great, but by the way, you're too modest. You're a dual career agent. Would you like to share with the group what else you do for a living?
I don't want to share the company I work for, but I'm also in leadership. I'm in middle management for one of the biggest hospitals in Southeast region of the United States. So I work remotely mostly. So it gives me the opportunity to do, you know, many things. I run a team, and then I also leverage partnerships and with some of our agents in South Florida, and then also with some friends I've made in Orlando and in the area.
Okay, great. So we have some questions here. It's not that everybody's going to answer every question. And as the moderator, I'd like to point out some of these questions, and feel free to interrupt me. For example, let's start with Marlene.
Oh.
Yes. How did you get started in the industry overall, Marlene?
Okay, so it is a very long story that I need to somehow make it short. But although I got my license just back in 2014, I've been working in real estate for many years before, because I had the fortune to work with a private developer. And it was a long road of almost 20 years where we started with residential properties, acquiring, managing residential properties, multifamilies, all of that, then disposing of all of them, turning into everything, the whole portfolio to commercial, getting into development, you know, buying land, you know, building shopping centers, office buildings. That was the time that I met Marlene. She was my realtor, getting, you know, tenants. So I learned a lot during that time, and all the aspects, analyzing properties to acquire, presenting properties to sell, and as well as working with the tenants in the different properties that we have. I learned helping them to establish different uses, familiar with zoning, with loans, commercial loans, and all of that. So 2014, I decided to get my license. That's when Marlene says, "Ooh, what are you doing? Come over here." So, and even though my first property, and that's what one of your questions
Yes.
was, is a residential property that I sold, and then one that I helped buy, I went to commercial real estate because it was all my contacts, everything that I knew, what I enjoyed doing was commercial real estate. So
Great.
I hope it wasn't too long. but-
No, it's fine.
Too many years when you
I
get
have
to this
10
age, there's no
questions.
short stories.
I have 10 questions, but most definitely, we'll kind of jump around, okay? Let's see. Carlos, what was your first transaction that you recall? Because I remember my first transaction from many, many moons ago.
Yeah, my first transaction was a rental. Yeah. I received a phone call, yeah, excited. I remember I was on the board taking a class, and that was like one of my first leads. I converted it, I get the place. That was my first transaction. After that, like 3 months after, I helped a buyer to find an investment property. Those were my 2 first transactions, the first year. The first month when I started, like right away.
Right away, okay.
Yeah.
So one was with a floor call, and that's how you did the rental?
No, in that time, we have I don't remember, I remember that you post the rental listing online and people call you,
Okay.
but they banned it, that you cannot do it anymore. And I remember using Craigslist as well at that
Oh,
time.
my goodness. Great.
Long time ago, yeah, I remember that as a new agent, no, how I get business? No, you have to post properties. So I post properties. I get into my broker's listing and I see, oh, these are good listings. Let me post it. I posted and I received my first call. And, well, you're looking for a rental. Well, let me help
Here I am.
you.
Yeah, meaning never say never. Take
No.
whatever comes your way as a new agent, right?
As a new agent, take everything.
Okay, great. Yala, what would you recommend is the first thing a new agent should do when they start in this industry?
That's an amazing question. And I think that the first thing you should do is to see around what is your sphere, your family, your friends, what is the market that they should be, because sometimes people, their friends are from high school, like it happens to me. And then I said, okay, that will be first time home buyers. And after that, it will be investors. But always check your friends, your family, start working on your database, and then start contacting people, but not saying, I'm a realtor, I want to sell you a house. No, just try to contact them, try to see how they are. If it has been a long time since you haven't talked to them, and trying to find their needs, their questions about real estate. Are you a renter? Are you planning to get a house? What do you think about that? Trying to start a conversation, but the natural way, and then start going to your database, input all the information, and then most important, follow up.
Follow up, follow up, follow up. Very well. Jose, can I ask you the same question? What would you recommend is the first thing a new agent should do when they start in this industry?
Well, I basically agree with everything Ayala says, and then I would let everybody know that I'm a real estate agent. Like, I think we underestimate that a lot, and I do one of those things where I try to include it in every conversation. So I meet somebody, hey, what do you do? This, and I start with the what do you do? They tell me, and then they always ask me, and then I go, oh yeah, I'm in real estate. I've done investing, and everybody wants to be in real estate and in investing and all this stuff, especially because what they see on TV, and they see people becoming extremely wealthy off of having real estate and all of that. So that's what I do. I try to work that in every single conversation with everybody that I meet. And usually somebody ends up, kind of following up and wanting to get more information. And I've generated, you know, a lot of listings like that, actually.
Okay, thank you, Jose. And I'm gonna put somebody on the spot right now, okay? We have Marla Santos with us today, and I want to ask Marla, how did you get started in the industry, Marla?
How?
You can speak English, you can speak Spanish, whatever you feel more comfortable. ¿Quieres hablar en español? For our Spanish-speaking agents.
Okay.
Okay, let me move the camera just a little bit so we can see Marla Santos. Marla has just come in. Okay, Marla, wow, you and I met over 10 years ago, at least 15 years ago, okay? So the question was, how do you get started in the industry, Marla?
Porque empecé a vender apartamentos en Miami Beach para developers. Tuve 5 años vendiendo desde el 95 hasta el 2000, bueno, como 2001. Y luego ya empecé a trabajar en el 2002 con Paul Benke, como 9 años.
Pero ahora estás con la mejor compañía, con
Sí.
Canvas Real Estate.
Sí, hace muchos años.
Okay, so
Porque estaba en Realty World y de Realty World cambiamos acá.
cambiamos a Canvas y hemos seguido juntas.
Sí.
So in other words, Marla started back in what year again?
En 1995.
1995, working with developers, selling mostly apartments on the beach, and then she transitioned into real
Y
estate.
en Kendall también. Vendí 2 proyectos, uno en Kendall y uno en Palmero Bay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, next question. Are we ready? Carlos, what is your recommendation when it comes to branding your business?
In regards to branding my business, for me it's different because I work a lot with my database. I work a lot with my relationships. So my branding is me with my database. You know, I work a lot. I work differently. You know, I work based on relations instead of based on online leads or how other agents do business. So my branding is to be there for them, and I'm the go-to agent when they have a question for real estate.
Okay, it's interesting you say your database. I know for a fact that you took a course that we offer here twice a year that kind of turned your life around. And that's what catapulted you into being one of the top producers. Or the top producer for Canvas Real Estate. Okay, would you like to share with the agents that are here and online, what was that program and why it turned your business around and to start becoming successful?
Yeah, I do a program called Buffini and Company, which is basically a real estate system. It's a system to work through relationship. And it was a real good fit for me because the type of business that I was doing. When you're a new agent, you do whatever you do. You try to do cold calling. You hear, let's buy lead with Zillow. You buy lead with Zillow. You're like exploring a lot of options, especially in this business. You will receive a lot of calls offering different programs. And when you're new, basically you do everything. But when I found this system, this program, I took the class, I see, no, this is a good fit for me because my personality, I'm very relationship oriented. So I value a lot my relation with my customer. And since the day one, for me was more important the relationship that I can build with my client than the transaction. And that's something that people feel and really appreciate. So I took the course. They said, no, that's a pretty good system. This is the system for me. And I took it, I applied, and it worked for me perfectly. So, yeah.
And you continue to this
I
day.
continue until this day. Yeah, I do. I have a coach, and that helped me to stay on track and keep, reaching my goals.
It's interesting you say coach, because here at our office, we have our productivity coach, Joel Milian. So do you recommend an agent that's starting out to work hand in hand with a coach? Like
Definitely.
hiring a personal trainer, right?
Definitely, like in sport or if you want to, be on top of your game, you need to have help. And a coach, of course, will help you to keep accountability, to keep you on track. That's a great option.
Great. Thank you, Carlos. Okay, Iala, can you describe a typical work day for yourself?
Oh, work day.
Yeah, a work day. What time does your day start? What do you do in the mornings? I mean, do you have a schedule that you
Yeah.
try to adhere to? Okay.
I love schedules, and I think that they are very important for us, because this is a profession that if you don't follow on a schedule, you won't succeed. Like, you have to be in top, because it's easy to mix work with personal. Like, we are moms, and then we need to wake up at 5:45, 6 a.m., prepare the kids, go to school, then come back, do some kind of exercise. It's not that we are feeling but we try to do it just to help with the focus on the work. Then you do like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is for each person. But then after that, we always try to start at 9 a.m. It could be 8:30, depends the day, like today, because we knew that we have this event, we started at 8. Then we start usually 9 a.m., look at those sides, 9 a.m., and then we do a team meeting, because I have my team, and then we review the current transactions, we review the leads, the buyers, the listings that we have, and then after that, we start working on prospecting. Like, for us, it's very important to review everything that is in place, and then we start doing prospecting. That depends of each people. Like Carlos said, for me, is always with all my business comes from prior clients or referral from prior clients or family and friends. Then always we check prospecting, keep that relation, start working in properties, look around, see MLS, work with other realtors. That's very important as well, because when you have a good relation with those realtors, even though they are not from Canvas, they will call you when they have listings, because they want to work with good teams. And then after that, usually in the afternoons, we try to focus our morning in prospecting and relations. That is prospecting as well. And then in the afternoon, we do inspections, appraisals, showings. Usually Saturdays are the days for open houses. And then we try to finish 6 p.m., 7 p.m. because we have families, and that's very important, because if you don't have the support from your family, then you won't succeed, because you don't want no one leaving time for your kids. But usually we try to finish at 6 or 7 p.m. That's our day.
Okay, great. With Jose Navarro here, that is a dual career. Jose, what would a typical day for you be, since you've got to divide yourself up into parts?
You did it.
Hey, Jency, we need you to mute, please. Jose, did you hear the question?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got to this.
Okay, let's go ahead.
All right.
And
Yeah, I heard the question.
you heard the question.
Yeah. So for me, it's a little bit different. I mean, I do have people that are reporting up to me, so I can, a lot of the work that I do in my career, I delegate. When it comes to phone calls, and yeah, a lot of my business comes from referrals, through family, friends. So I can manage the time as needed. So, I'll make, as soon as I get the referral and they're saying, hey, they want to get a phone call, I immediately try to call them, right? Unless I'm in a meeting or I'm, on a conference or something like that, I immediately try to contact them and say, hey, maybe now is not a good time. A lot of people work, so that also helps. They're kind of in the same hours as I am, right? So I go, okay, well, yeah, I'll contact you after work, 6 o'clock or whenever you get home or whenever it's good. And then I do a lot of that on the weekends when I'm working with buyers. That's when they're available also. So that's when I'm showing property. With the construction business, I have a point of contact there. So once I establish somebody who's interested, I can always refer them to my point of contact at the builder. So it's not as difficult when you're doing it that way. I think that some other agents, since they're working on rentals and they're working on other things that help supplement their income, they have to spend a lot of time on the phones. With me, it's like not as much because it's usually referral business. So that's how I do it. You know, I get up early and I go to bed late. Sometimes I'm talking to you, Marlene, at 9:30 about a deal, or, you know, and that's how it is. And then when I need to make time, I make time, and I don't answer phone calls and I don't speak to anybody. But I'm a little bit different in the aspect that I don't mind going all the time. Like, if I don't keep my mind busy or myself busy, I get bored. So it's okay if I get a contact at 7:30 p.m. and then I could talk to them and then get back to what I'm doing. So that's pretty much how it is. At work, it's the same thing. I wake up at 7:30 in the morning. Sometimes I have stuff to do in the morning. Sometimes I have the entire day completely free. I can block myself off in my calendar. I'm on salary, so I can do that. And that's how I manage it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, back to Carlos, and then we're gonna go to Marla again. Carlos, what is your specialty or farming area, if I may ask?
Well, I don't have a farming area because, as I said before, when I check my business, all comes like a 98% come from my past clients or referrals. So, but I don't have a farming area. That's something that I need to try. I never have done a farming.
That's interesting,
That's interesting.
because years ago, it was all about farming a
Farm.
specific area, and that's why we're gonna go to Marla next.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, and my mainly transactions are residential. I have done commercial as well, around 1 or 2 transactions annually for commercial. But it's basically residential. Yeah, my specialty.
Okay, very well. Marla, what is your specialty, or talk to me about farming areas? How has the industry transitioned? You could say it in Spanish and I'll translate it to English if you feel more comfortable.
Same as him, I don't have a farming area in the last 20 years. But when I start in Coldwell Banker, they design, you know, what area you have to work, because you have more business in that area. And I remember in Campbell some farming the area that I have, but when I'm changing the company, I have so many work, so many business. And in that case, I don't need the farming, you know, because I was too much work
To concentrate.
yeah, to concentrate. And really my client is the past client, is the referral. And always, you know, I have a work, I have a lot of job for
But you also, and I know we keep hearing the word referrals, so we gotta
Yeah.
generate referrals, right? Okay, and it has to start somewhere, and who best than to generate referrals from your sphere of influence, from the people that you know? You know, when I started 23 years ago, in my case, my referrals came because of my prior employment in logistics and transportation. So who were my clients? My clients were the exporters, importers, trucking companies, airlines, steamship lines. So those are the people that when I finally knocked on their doors, my business took off. Okay. And with Marla, from starting many years ago, there was this thing called protected farming areas, which these days, I mean, we have the license that we could sell anywhere in the state of Florida. We have Carlos Cabrera here that has been doing deals in Punta Gorda, right? And Lehigh, Marlene travels there. So wherever the business is. But aside from that, Marla, you provide another service to your customers. What is that other service to your customers that are abroad. Would you like to share that with them?
Yeah, after pandemic, no, I'm sorry, after the market down
Crash.
crash, you know, I sold a lot of houses for the people from Venezuela, Argentina, Peru, and foreign national, and they bought it, not one, oh, Spain. They bought it 4, 5, 6, 10 property at the same time, and the people live out the town, the United States. And the people start talking, oh, Marla, help me, I need help for the collect the rent, for they take care of the property. And I start help, but I say, well, this help has to charge something, because it's a lot of it's the time, the gas, everything, and this job she knows is worth the real estate, because it's every
So we're
day.
talking about property
Property
management.
management.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That
I
you have-
remember,
Mhm.
correct me if I'm wrong, I think at some point you had about 25 properties you were
Yes.
single-handedly
Mhm.
managing
Yeah.
for different clients. So
Yeah.
how does one person do that? That's the challenge.
Yeah. Mhm.
So do
I
you-
have assistant, she prepare all this, the Excels, and because sometimes I pay for the repairs, sometimes they pay for the repairs, but we need have to accountant, for everything happen, and my assistant helped me the
administrative
Yeah,
part?
mhm.
Okay, very well. So an assistant
Mhm.
is a good idea
yeah.
to make yourself more productive. At the beginning, maybe you have a lot of time, but trust me, once you start in this industry, working 4, 5, 6 deals at a time, you can't do everything. So you have to pick and choose what you can do. I'm going to go now to Jose. Do you handle your own transactions or use an assistant or a transaction coordinator?
I use a transaction coordinator on different occasions. So that's one of the biggest helps. They'll set up listings for you. They'll set up contracts for you and make sure everything's on the up and up and dot loop, which that's very time consuming sometimes. I've used a VA in times past. Sometimes they're winners, sometimes they're not. So if you find a good one, hang on to them. But it can be a challenge when, they're inexperienced. So don't just hire anybody. But those are my 2 main point of assistance when I need it.
Okay, can I ask the same question to Iala? Do you handle your own transactions or use an assistant or a transaction coordinator? Because you talked about a team.
No.
So is it an admin person or is it developing a team?
I have a transaction coordinator that at the same time help me with managing the properties, because usually it is a time consuming activity, but you do it because you want to help your clients. And then you spend time, and then after you get more business and you help those clients that are not in the country, and sometimes they are in the country, but they are super busy. Then I have my transaction coordinator. I think that when you start, maybe you said, oh, I don't need it now, I can afford it. But as soon as you feel overwhelmed, that you feel that you can handle everything, you should hire a person. Because at that time, it's gonna be an expense, but a good transaction coordinator will allow you to leverage, to get in the point where you want. Because you think, oh no, I can pay. Yes, you can, because at the moment you're gonna see that maybe it's an expense, but after that, you're gonna be able to get more clients, work with more clients, and then let that part, the admin part, to the person that is sitting also quiet, in a quiet place, because you need to be getting phone calls, going everywhere, and you need someone to be very organized to do those tasks.
Okay, good. That's a good question. I'm gonna ask the next question to Marlene Ibars. And I think I know her answer, but I want her to share it with you. How do you balance work and personal time, Marlene?
Well, it's a lot easier for me now because my kids are grown now, so I do have 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Many times I'm talking to Martin 11 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock in the morning.
And I'm asking this question because I need to divide the,
But I do at
Work
this
and
time of my
personal.
life, I do recognize that it's very important to give time to yourself, to what you like to do. Like in my case, I will walk at the beach every Saturday and Sunday. That's my sacred time. I won't do anything about work. Marlene has to wait. Everybody has to wait.
Marlene already learned that I
Exactly.
can't call her before 1 o'clock on a Saturday or Sunday.
Because that's my time. So after that, kind of everything falls into place. You know, it doesn't mean that I don't do anything that I like or personal, but at that time, but kind of that put it at ease, you know? And I enjoy what I do. So I work, I love working. I don't have the kids anymore to get ready or going to activities. Exactly. So it is a new, you know, part of my life that, and I love what I do. Many of my clients are friends. I think it's a lot, we're hearing a lot the importance of referrals. He mentioned something that it happens to me as well. When you go with love, doing what you like to do, and you don't think about we all work for money. I do work for money. But when you enter in a transaction and you raise from your mind how much the commission is gonna be, when are you gonna get paid, and you focus on just doing the best for that client that is gonna be your friend and is gonna be your source of referrals, everything falls into place. You enjoy what you're doing, you do it with love, and people see that and they feel it. And the only way that they see it is if you do it from that place. So it works for me now, but again, I don't have any little kids anymore.
You know, hearing each of your individual experiences, okay? When we started in the industry over 20 years ago, you would generate business by making the phone calls, doing open houses, knocking on doors, sending postcards. And these days we hear that it's all social media, but if you'll notice, these top producers have barely mentioned social media. They mention more referrals, creating relationships, their database, working their database. So it's a combination of things. So Carlos, what is the most inexpensive way to find prospects, especially for new agents?
Well, let me give you a story. You know, I came from Venezuela back in 2013. I spent the first year, as a new person in a country. And I have a wife and 3 kids. So I say, well, if I get a regular job with maybe 10, 14 hours, no, that's not, I'm not gonna cover my expenses. So I was researching, and my brother, he lives in Orlando, he's an agent as well. And I asked, well, tell me about it. No, I sell houses. So I get the phone call from Marlene, hey, come visit me. She was the one who recruited me, But it's difficult when you're a new agent and you are new in a country, you don't know anybody. For me, what I did is I learned a lot. I went to the board and I started to do a lot of rental. Marlene, probably you remember that. But I did a lot of rental because I said, in the meantime, I do transactions, I need to have money. And one of the easiest way to get money is to have rental. So I remember that I did a lot of rental, but because I did a transaction, people were happy, they referred me, they give the number. So it started like that because I didn't know anybody. So I need to start with something. And I remember that you had to have goals. My goal was, I remember at that time in the company, you get paid by a check every Friday. And it's like, I need to have a check every Friday. So I do it rentals, and I have rentals every week. I have every week, every Friday. They see me in the office. Oh, you're here. I know why you're here. picking a check.
Picking up a check.
Yeah, yeah, but I did a lot of rent. Eventually, those rental, you converted in buyers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have family. And then they ask me, you only do rental? No, of course I do everything. So you started to work on your database, and that database, you can see how they grow. And for me, what's more special, as she was saying, the relationship, because I know when you're a new agent, you do care about the money, right? But for me, I learned since the beginning. For me, the most important was the relationship. I can, if it was a bad deal, I say, I'm gonna stay with you. Let's move forward. Let's go to the next transaction. Because I saw some agents that they care about the transaction, and they fight with the client to get it closed when that's not the best option. You need to be always with your client. What's best for them, not for you, it's for them. And they will appreciate that. Honestly, they will appreciate that, and they will refer you, which is the most cheapest and most easy way to build a business in real estate.
It's interesting you say rentals. Back in 2016, we opened up a rental division in the company, and our focus was a little bit different than your sphere of influence. We actually went and knocked on doors of new apartment buildings, lease-ups. New apartment buildings sometimes pay up to 1 month commission. So as you're driving around, if you see a new building going up, try to find out who that developer is. When is that building going to open up? Because you could potentially bring clients there and make some easy cash. And with rentals, there's less restrictions to qualify. They work with foreign nationals. They work with people that don't have a good credit. And the day after that tenant moves in, that's the day to connect them to our digital campaign, the benefits of buying and not continue renting, because a year from now, their lease is gonna come up and the rent is gonna go up. So you have a year to nurture and prepare those individuals to purchase, okay? So rentals is a great source, and it doesn't have to necessarily be properties that are on the MLS per se. But there's another inexpensive way to generate prospects. Yes, go ahead, Mala, please. If you want to say it in Spanish, don't worry.
For me, the best way when you start in real estate is letting know everybody that you know, the family, friends. For me, when I start in Coldwell Banker, they give me 500
postcards or
no,
note cards.
And that's the old way, you know, for the tell at my past client that I sell apartments in Miami Beach, houses in Kendall, houses in Palmetto Bay, and I was the person the resell all the properties I sold when I was working in the buildings in the projects. Or working with the developers, and when you has a relation before, you know, with that client, they trust you. They give you the you don't need to suffer yeah, they know that you are good.
They have their back.
You trust me.
That you have their back. And by the way, to tell everybody that you're in the industry, and I want you to notice, and I'm not picking on Niala and Marlene, but do you notice that Carlos and Mala have their badges? That's your walking uniform.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm not wearing mine today, it's in the purse, but I usually, don't I wear it all the time? I wear it to go do my nails. I wear it when I go to the bank to make a deposit. I've even been known to wear it as I arrive at church. Oh, forgot, I just came from an open house, but for years and years, people in my church know that I was in the industry. And without even realizing, I got that call from the pastor of the church that they needed to buy a building. So guess who they called to help them find that building? By just wearing my badge, because I wasn't part of the church leadership or anything like that. So you gotta put on that uniform every day. And it's a great way to start a conversation at the cashier with the Publix lady, at the dry cleaners. Yes, Magda?
The other way was give a business card everybody, you know, though when I was in the medical appointment, I talked with everybody and said, oh, I'm a realtor, give me my, I give you, yeah, take my card. And when I picked up my daughter in the school, always I told with the people, give them my business card.
Teachers,
Yeah.
everybody.
And one day I give the business card to somebody, and 6 months later, he called me. He was the baseball player, but at the top. And yeah, and yes, and when the 6 months before, he said, oh, you give me the card in the parking lot for the San Timothy school. That where's my daughter, yeah, and I say, oh my God, he keep my card, you know, for 6 months. And
That's a surprise, because you give a business card and they lose the business cards 3 days later. So what do now? We share our app.
yeah.
So make sure that your business cards has your personal app, so they can download the app on their phones, okay?
Yeah.
I want to kind of wrap it up here, and I want to come back to Iyala with that question. What is the most inexpensive way to find prospects? And I'm going to give you a hint. Open houses. Can you talk about open houses, please?
Oh, yeah.
Because besides refers, when you start having, okay, yes, your sphere, you get buyers, you get listings. Then when you get listings, then you get a lot of leads. If it's a rental, there is a lot of people without realtors that they will call you. If you are selling a residential, then also you have people calling you with the sign, very important, your sign. They will call you. Sometimes they don't have realtors. But also when you do the open houses, and lately, with a beautiful idea, we are doing open houses also for rentals, that you put open house. Then everybody from the street will go. Sometimes they think that you're selling the house, but you're renting. And then you can get to start talking with them, build a relation, and then you have a lot of leads. Then you have there like different ways where you can get new people to your database.
Okay, but I want to take it up a notch. She does something in open houses that I had not seen anybody else do.
And that's Irelis.
Okay, or Irelis. Irelis, we're gonna put you on the spot here. Irelis, it looks like a catering event.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, no, really?
Share with us what they do. They're not inside the house waiting for somebody to knock on the door. They're making sure people notice them. So can you give me a little description of what happens at one of your open houses?
First, we do the marketing like the week before, but then after that day, we put like, you know, los signs, ponemos carpa, globos. Entonces, Ireli, que es súper buena en la cocina, porque si es por mí, no vamos a vender la casa. Ella prepara algo hermoso con muchas cositas saludables, otras no tan saludables, pero queda muy hermoso, flores con jamón y queso, y lo ponemos, y ponemos
When is the next open house?
They just did one, is in Weston
Weston,
Hills
yeah.
Country Club, that they barely allow anything there, okay, right?
Rapidito,
Yeah.
2 horas.
And she did it in less than 4 days, and she had 5 families come in, but I think they wanted to know if there was a party going on, because they had their table with the canvas.
Yeah, we did this one.
And look at
if
that.
you go to
Look at
Hialeah,
these
that would be
beautiful spreads here, look at that, okay, that they do, and the balloons. So people out of curiosity come up to their open houses and start having a conversation even before they come in through the door,
Y lo que
okay?
quedó se lo dejamos a la dueña, estaba
Oh, yeah. I have been known to go by your open houses to support you and take some goodies home, but they're very good. It's just something different. I've seen them put music. It's like a house party, like a block party open house, okay? Okay, so before we wrap this up, I want to open it up to everyone here as far as if somebody has a question for our top producer pack. Anybody? Come on, I'm sure a lot of things are going through your mind.
That we answer all the questions.
Okay, but Jose's on the line right now, but what happens if yes, I'll be right there. What happens if you get a lead up in Lakeland, Florida, and you're sitting here in South Florida? Who wants to answer that?
You take care of it.
But you drive up to Lakeland, Florida?
Wow,
It depends on the type of lead,
Well,
right?
it's a commercial is different, so I'm gonna let somebody else answer that. Because commercial we done all the way,
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Orlando, everywhere.
I'm back, sorry.
Hey, Jose, the question, what happens if you're up in Palm Bay, you get a lead down in Homestead? What do you recommend,
Yes.
for example?
Okay, well, I mean, like I stated before, referrals are great, right? And some of the things that I've done with other agents is that they'll refer the person to me. I work out a referral agreement with them, and then I usually take over. Or, I mean, you can drive all the way up here. One of the things that I've learned in being in business is that it's better to make a percentage of something than make 100% of nothing. And with Orlando, the agent that I work with in Orlando, you know, we work out a referral agreement, he handles it, I'll help out here and there, and then that's one of the best things that I recommend is because I know the area or whoever you're working with knows the area. They're more knowledgeable. You know, they can take over. This is time consuming, right? So if you send somebody over from Palm Bay, I usually from like Homestead, right? I drive around, I show them the area. I take my time for them to feel comfortable with the decision that they're making, and then I follow up with them and all of that. So I think it's worth doing that. Unless you're like me, like I have a listing right now in Homestead. If I need to go to Homestead, I'll drive the 3 hours over there. I'm already used to going up and down the state of Florida like that. But if need be, you know, I would try to leverage an agent down there as well, right? So that's what I recommend. You know, I know some people have the mindset that if they don't make the $11,000, the 3% of the $370,000 sale, that it really is not worth it sometimes. Like you have to leverage yourself like that sometimes. And it's worked out so well. The person I work in Orlando, I met in Dubai, right? I flew over there to International Property Show. I spent, 10 days there. We became buddies. We came back, Orlando. He's referred to me literally millions of dollars of business, and I've done the same with him. So it's, referral agreement with an agent is always a great way to do it.
And I think you've used on occasion just a showing agent, right, Jose?
Yeah, I've had.
Listings.
Yeah, I do that as well, especially with new agents who want to do open houses and get their chops, going and everything. I always welcome it. I have a listing right now in Homestead that I threw in the chat the other day. Anybody want to do, an open house, you're more than welcome to it. And, whatever leads and anything you get from there, that's all you, and it's mutually beneficial.
Great. Okay, so before we wrap up, any questions? Joel, you've been pretty quiet.
Yes, I have.
Yes, it's been.
I've been listening to the top producers and making notes.
Well, you're one of those two. So would you like to kind of maybe finish off as a general consensus of what you learned here and what we can apply?
Absolutely. So in summarizing, what I would say is I'm gonna give the props to Carlos in regards to building this business by referral through the Brian Buffini program. That was one of the programs that I used early on. And even 20 plus years after, I am re-enrolled in the Brian Buffini program this year. So I have some postcards over there, beautiful postcards that you could send notes out, actually note cards. So that's one of them. The second one is I love, I believe it was Marla in regards to this, no, it was you, Marlene, about the scheduling. It's important to have a standard in scheduling. I love the fact that Friday, Saturday and Sunday morning from before 1 o'clock that you don't pick up your phone. So one of the mistakes that agents do when they open this, when they start this business is that you're a slave to your customers. And we've all done it. Each and every one of us, we could attest that we've answered calls at 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, Monday through Sunday through Saturday. But there comes a point in our business that we have to have a standard and a schedule. And therefore, you need to schedule 3 things when you start your week or the year: your personal time, your family time, then your business time. So time management. And that's where Yala, I want to lean on Yala about the scheduling part. If you don't have a schedule, you're not in business. So you have to have a schedule. So one of the things that with the little time that I've been able to share with Yala, I shared with her the appointment book or the calendar book. It's old school. And I offered her $50 for hers this year because I was not able, I was late in ordering mine. And every time I have, it's a 5.5 by 8. And every time I write in it, I hate it. And I say, I hate you because I don't have the big one. But I offered $50 to her and she wouldn't, you know, share it with me or let me buy it back from her. But that's how valuable that is. You need to have a calendar, a book. I know we live with the, you know, with the technology, with Calendly and all that, but I'll challenge you. You're out in the road, 3 o'clock, you're in bumper to bumper traffic, driving 70 miles per hour on I-75. And now an appointment that needs to be switched around or someone wants to schedule an appointment, I challenge you to find it within your phone. However, if you have a calendar book, you just open it up, just take a glance, and you know where you're gonna put that appointment. That's a must. And again, building the business by referral, like Marla said, you have to build this business by referral. There's no ifs and buts about it. Relationships, and this is something I'm gonna share with everyone. This business will always be a relational business, or better said, this business is a relational business. It will always be a relational business, no matter what's going on, no matter the Zillows, the whatever it is that programs out there, the challenges with commissions, doesn't matter. It's all about relationship. So I want to give each and every one of our panelists props. For you, Jose, as well. Good job, my man. I know you're building a tremendous business out there in Palm Bay. It's great to see you again back in the battle, and just great to see you. So thank you, each and every one of you.
One last thing I want to say, remember, you're not alone. You have a team behind you. You have the office, you have the productivity coach, you have the in-house lender, you have title, you have inspection companies. It's a team effort. Like right now, I just got a flyer. We put it in the chat of an open house this weekend. Well, Ray and his group can do financing flyers for you, okay? To tell a potential buyer what that property will cost. If there's a question regarding title, you reach out to Title Logic, our in-house title company, the attorneys, so on and so forth. So I want to thank everybody. Can we give a round of applause to our panelists? Next year, we'll have a producer and the camera will be better, but I think overall, you all got the message. Thank you once more for tuning in and join us next week. Guess what? Next week, we have Yala back and our dear Ro Khalil. Did she know that? Yes, she did. Next week, we have Yala and our dear colleague Ro Khalil Hiron from the Doral office coming in to talk about Section 8. How to work with the tenant and how to work with the landlord in getting their property approved. So stay tuned next week with our Wednesday series, okay? And we'll live stream it as well. So until next week, happy Valentine's, enjoy the day. And I'm taking Marlene's advice. I'm out of commission after 1 o'clock. I'm taking the afternoon to be with my love.
Good for you.
Enjoy.
Take care, enjoy.
Oh, I'm gonna
Have a
close
great day.
and
Enjoy.
go
Thank you.
to this class, okay? So ciao, ciao, everybody. See you next week.
Who's gonna follow Marlene?
Yay.
La
Oh, yes, mimosa time. Oh, can we say that in the recording?